Welcome back, DoomTubers, to another video. Today is a game discussion, and today we're going to be talking about Fire Emblem Awakening. I just beat this game this evening, and I put about 25 hours into it in real time. Like, that's including all the times I got a game over and, also restarted boards because certain things happened that I didn't want to happen. With that said, I didn't play with permadeath on. I played with it off because I didn't have time. I don't have time to restart a board every time a character dies. Yeah, I didn't want to play like that, so I didn't do that. I played it on casual, and all my characters lived. So yeah, I put about 25 hours real time into it, and that's based on the 3DS counter. I think I was pretty close to, I don't know, 20 plus. I don't know how many exactly. 20 plus hours on the game clock. So getting through all the boards and everything, there's 20 plus hours. I didn't do all of the paralogs. I did several of them. Just because you get more characters that way, and it's a chance to battle and get all your characters some extra experience points, which the extra battles don't come very often. The random battle, I don't want to say random encounter because it wasn't an encounter, but the extra battles that occasionally pop up on the map for you to go and get some extra experience really didn't come that often, which ended up being okay. I ended up being pretty well maxed out on most of my characters. Even after changing classes with master seals and stuff like that, I had my strongest characters. I'd say my strongest 5 characters pretty well maxed out. For most of you that are watching my channel are probably familiar with this game. It's a strategy RPG, and the story is just, in my opinion, pretty awesome. I mean, it's nothing like extremely revolutionary. It's not like I don't want to say it won't win any awards for greatest story ever, but the story is very prevalent and it's very nice. It's a good story, but it's really that's not really what really drives you to play this game. I just really liked the combat. The combat was just fantastic, and I should preface most of this discussion before I get too much deeper into it by saying, after about 6 chapters in the beginning, I really wasn't sure that I was totally on board with this game. I wasn't totally sure that I loved it, and I was just not playing quite to the potential that this game has, what this game has to offer. I was just kind of trying to ease into it. Really, you just kind of have to just go full bore, because the mechanics of this game are really, really, really good. I just loved the pair up system, where you'd have 2 units side by side and on the grid, and they would fight together, or you could join them together so they occupied the same space on the grid, and they would always fight together, and that built up your characters' relationships and things like that. And if it was a man and a woman, building up those relationships on the battlefield and off the battlefield. You could use the support system and communicate with other characters and stuff and build those relationships even more. And then characters would start getting married, and then when you use them together on the battlefield, they just supplemented each other so well. They gave each other all these different buffers and stuff, and it just really made for a really solid combat. Made for you can have these groups of characters that could just go and just slaughter the crap out of any board, and it was awesome. Like I said, I did play it on casual mode, so there wasn't a really, really intense challenge. I played on casual normal, I think is the lowest one that is available, and that's what I played on. So like I said, it wasn't like an immense challenge, but it didn't take away from the gameplay at all. It really was just really good. And clearly, I mean, in the beginning I had tons of trouble, even though I was on a lower difficulty. I could not get past Chapter 6 for some reason. I just kept, like, my main character, your personal character, would just get killed, and then if he was the main character, which is your character you created, and Crom, if either one of them got killed in battle, it was game over. There wasn't, even if you didn't have permadeath on, that was it. You know, which I thought was silly, but whatever. That said, there's a ton of really likable characters. I chose to use Sumia and Crom, and they got married, got hooked up, got hitched, and then my character was a male character, and I mated him with Pan, who is a species called the Togwell, and they're like half rabbit, half human kind of thing, and they're in battle, they transform into these like giant rat looking things, and they were just badass. I had 3 Togwell in my party when all was said and done, but I won't ruin that for you, because that is part of the paralogs, actually, and so yeah, I won't go into great detail, but I really liked that class. I guess not really class; it was a species. But yeah, so I had my character and a Togwell, Pan, and Sumia and Crom, and Vake, and I can't pronounce her name, but it's like Cherish or Church or something. I can't pronounce her name. Starts with a C. Cherche, I think is how it's spelled. And she was a wyvern rider, or wyvern, or however you say it, dragon rider. And it was just really a really potent mixture, and I could just decimate boards. It was just crazy. Towards the end, it was the battles moved pretty quickly, because I kind of had all of them maxed out, and it was just a really good combination. And I will say, though, I did kind of something that it's not that I don't recommend it, because I did it with relative ease, but I did not have a healer in my party at all. Like, not at all. The only healing that I had was occasionally I would get some weapon that had a healing ability, and like it was like a blessed lance or something like that, and a character that, you know, was wielding that lance. Every turn they would like regain 20 HP or something like that. And then also the different medicinal items, I had those. Every character usually carried around a couple of these concoctions or elixirs. Yeah, and that's really it. Also, you know, on some boards there was these spaces where you could stand, and like a little fortress area within the board that you could stand and regenerate health on the next turn and stuff like that. But I never used a healer. I made it all the way to the end without a healer, and beat it with relative ease. Like I said, I mean, I had a little bit more difficulty in the beginning, but once I started to ramp up level-wise and class-wise, I really just kind of bulldozed through to the end. And I was getting worried, actually, because I didn't have a healer, and this was like in the late teens. There's 26 chapters, and this was in the late teens, you know, 17, 18, and I was like, okay, I don't have a healer. How the heck am I supposed to finish this game if it's going to get harder? But it did get more difficult. The boards took a lot longer, but I was kind of expecting that. There's one board, crap, I can't remember which one it was, one of the later ones, like 23 or 24, where you're just supposed to kill all the enemies, and that's the whole point of the board, and they just keep coming. Like, there was just so many of them. I wasn't really having any difficulty. I'd only lost a couple of units at that point, you know, the weaker ones that I hadn't spent as much time leveling up. But, yeah, I was, like, wondering, okay, when is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? But, Made it through to the end of that one, and with relative ease, like I keep saying. And something that I had kind of heard, when I first started playing this game, and I was told to be careful of, and most other people would kind of agree with me, and I really kind of got away from him. But it's Frederick. If you're familiar with the game, you know exactly what I'm going to say. You really need to be careful with him because immediately upon starting the game, he is a higher class than the rest of your characters. He is a powerhouse right in the beginning. And that is, on purpose, obviously, because he is, supposed to be a bodyguard, basically. He's supposed to be protecting the prince and princess, and he does a fantastic job of that in the very beginning of the game. He's very strong, and he is going to be your battle winner for the beginning few stages because he is so strong, and the rest of your characters are so low-leveled. But that said, you really do have to be careful and not rely on him to be your battle winner for very long. You really need to get all of your characters, or a good core group of characters, like I said, up and going. And by the end of the game, quite honestly, he was one of my kind of my back tier characters. I mean, he was still strong, and I changed his class to a paladin. I mean, and he was still relevant because he is on horseback, so he did have a little bit more range in how far he could travel and things like that. But I used a lot of flying characters. I had two. I guess I say that. I guess I only had three. But you get a character who I can't remember the species or character class that she is, but she can transform into a dragon. I had her, but she wasn't really a flying character. Then I had a dragon rider or a wyvern rider, however you say it. I always say wyvern, but I don't know if that's right. And then I had two Pegasus knights that I used, and I changed one of them to a dark rider, and the other one to a falcon rider. So they were really the real powerhouses too. I think Sumia was probably I had her maxed out on her second class, so she was kind of the the ass kicker, and I had Crom backing her up, always, and then Pan was the other one that I had maxed out, and she was a Togwell, and I had her maxed out on her second class also. And of course my character backing her up, and then Vake, like I said, was really high. Also, I don't think he did. Yeah, I did. I maxed him out right before I went into the last chapter. Actually, I did max him out too. So really, Frederick was still relevant, but he was kind of in the back burner. He was just kind of a support. So, yeah, it's a really fantastic game. I can't recommend this game enough. Really, I mean, I am not very good at SRPGs. I'm really not. I want to like them so much because there's a ton of them, and I own a ton of them. And so, I would say, without a doubt, if you can slog through the first few chapters and you still dig this game, this is a fantastic first SRPG. I've played hours and hours of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and a few other bits of SRPGs here and there, but I've never finished one. This is the first one I've ever finished, and I can say with very high recommendation here that this is a fantastic SRPG. It's very fast moving, and the combat is just wonderful, and there's voice acting, there is beautiful cutscenes. The cutscenes are there's not enough of them. I mean, they look so amazing that that there's seriously just not enough of them. There really isn't enough of them. There's only like 3 or 4 or 5, just a few in the game, just enough to keep it really awesome. And there are moments where I cried. I did cry one time, almost twice, just once, and yeah, it's a really awesome game. I love it. Fire Emblem Awakening. I really bought into the hype at first, and that's what caused me to actually buy the game. Because everybody had been praising it so highly, and I said, okay, I have to have a copy of this game. And if you're familiar with the Fire Emblem series in general, most of the games are pretty expensive. And that's what I was fearing with this newest one, being that most people were saying that it's the best one, or one of the best, if not the best. That I was worried that this was going to become rare or expensive, but actually I think it's actually pretty cheap right now. Maybe it's just because of the holidays that it's cheap, but I think it's like $15 at Best Buy right now. And but obviously if you're watching this video down the road a ways, that will be completely irrelevant. But I did buy this at new game price for $40, and I do not regret spending a penny of that, because this is a fantastic game. And really looking forward to playing some more SRPGs in this same vein, hopefully. Just kind of the fast-moving, I don't know. I feel like sometimes that Final Fantasy Tactics is just a little bit too slow, a little bit too... But I still like to finish Tactics Advance, and because I did really like that game, and like I said, I put probably 20 hours or so into that already, and maybe more. I don't know, but I really want to finish that. And also, I do have Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon for the DS. I've heard that this is really good, but also maybe not quite as forgiving as Awakening, but I still really want to play it. So that might be next. I might try to throw that in and see how I like it, and I might put it down and play in favor of something else. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be going into the DS very soon, because that's the only other Fire Emblem game I have. I've heard that the GameCube and the Wii ones are very awesome, but those are both $50+ a piece, and I don't want to spend $50 on a game that's old right now. I mean, I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. So, anyway, I think I have gushed enough about Fire Emblem Awakening. I will stop yapping now. So, I want to thank you for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful. I doubt that it was, but thanks for watching anyway. Doomwaves out.